Okay, guys. So for tonight, since we have 7 players, 2 women and 5 men, um, it's going to be a little more complicated. So I've spent way too much time thinking about the best way to simplify it for everyone. And I think what we're going to use is what I'm just making up the term, the Nexus subbing method instead of a pairs subbing method. So here's how it will work. For the girls, you don't even have to listen to this because the girls won't be affected by this. You always have to have 2 women on the court at the whole during the whole match, so they're never going to come out because they're not allowed to. So that's why I made I made their names small, Ashley here and Charlotte here. I also made Brian's name small because as the setter, I'll be on the when we do this approach, I'll be on the floor the whole time just to minimize confusion. I think to make it fair in terms of people sitting, what I will do is just sit out an entire game, and you guys can just play with 6, and someone else will set. I don't know, I think Charlotte's a setter. I'm not sure who else would set, but I'll just set out that whole game. Probably the first game, just because there's a chance I may be late tonight. Most likely, maybe 80% I'll be there with plenty of early time. But if my student decides not to be late and we go, not to be lazy and we go a little later, then I won't finish until 8 and I won't get there until maybe 8:15 or 8:20, so I might miss the beginning of the first game. Anyway, so this is the approach. You can probably see already that it's going to make it complicated that the girls can't come out, and then Brian won't be coming out, which is why all our names are little. So the only ones coming out are going to be these 4 guys, Julian, Jan, Raman, and Jeremy. I made the colors for all the middle hitters blue. The setter and offsider, the right side players, will be green, and the outside hitters, the left side hitters, will be brown. Now, one thing that's going to be tricky for the guys here is your position will change in certain rotations as a result of the way the math works out. Now, we're going to do the same rotation each time for at least all 2 games, if not all 3 games. And so you'll get used to this and it'll be easy. The only difference will be sometimes you'll be a middle hitter and sometimes you'll be an outside hitter. And I'm just going to go through how that works now. And it's going to be, for the entire play, you're always going to be a middle hitter, meaning you want to go to the middle once you can. And if you're an outside hitter, you're always going to want to go to the left side as soon as you can. Again, for the girls, none of this affects you. Ashley, you're going to do what you always did, which is stay as an outside hitter, always going to the left side. Charlotte, you're going to do what you always did, which is always be an offsetter or weak side hitter, always going to the right side, and we'll do our normal, swap thing, you and me, that doesn't affect anybody else. Okay, so here's how we would start. I picked this. I think this would be a good approach for us to start. I'm going to be in the back right, either serving if we have it, or I won't serve at all if we don't have it. Now, after we will always rotate only in this spot in the bottom right. Whenever we rotate, whenever we sub rather, it will only be to sub when we come in to serve. Which is what most of you are used to anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. So the sub will always come in, when he comes in, always in this spot. Now, sometimes people will sub out for more than one rotation just because of how the math works, and this is what I mean. So let's say we are not serving, so everyone knows, I don't think I have to go through it again, but the way we have our arrangement when everyone runs to their positions, suppose we are serving, right? The back row, the front row here, like always, will stack because they want to go to their positions, right? And then once we serve, after we hit the ball over the net, right, the middle goes here, outside goes here, Charlotte goes there, and then these 2 in the back would stack as well, right? And then once we serve, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Okay, but let's say now that we, let's say that we win this point. Let's say that we lost the serve and then we win the point, so we're going to rotate. So this is where we started before we rotate. 1 second here. Okay, and now we won the points, so we rotate. So everyone's going to rotate here. But now Jan would go into the server spot. He's now going to go out, and Raman is going to sub in. Now, we can see that Jan, we're going to take away he was a middle. We're going to take this away and just call him sub for now. Because when he comes back in, it may be to a different position, meaning outside middle or weak side hitter. And it's only going to be, just so you guys know, for the guys subbing, you're either going to be a middle or an outside left side hitter. You'll never have to be a right side player. So that should simplify things. Okay, so Ramen now comes in, and what dictates what position he will play is based on whatever the guy opposite him is opposite, meaning if he's back right, the front left player, his mirror, is at that time. So since Jeremy's a middle, Ramen will have to come in as a middle hitter. And this is to always keep it consistent, where in the front row we always have an outside, a setter, and a middle, and in the back row always an outside, a setter, and a middle. Always have one of each color in the front and one of each color in the back. Okay, now let's suppose we lose the point, and then we get the point back, and we rotate. Okay, now we can see that let's see. Okay, now we're going to rotate. So Ramen's going to go over here. Brian goes there. Ashley up there. Jeremy there. Charlotte there. Julian is now going to sub out, and Jan comes in. Now Jan, as the server, will come in. He will notice that his mirror is an outside. So he is now going to come in as an outside hitter, which I think is what he's usually been playing anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem for him. Okay, so he's got that, and then we're good. We have one of each. Oh, and outside I've just got to make brown. Okay, now we lose the point, we win again, we rotate again. Okay, everyone shifts over. Now, Charlotte is going into the server position. Charlotte's a girl, obviously, so Charlotte is not allowed to come out. We have to have two girls on the floor. So Julian will be staying where he is as the sub, because he's not allowed to sub in for Charlotte. So Julian stays for one more rotation as a sub. Don't worry, it's going to get mixed in where everyone has like an extra rotation where they stay, or two where they stay, and one where they come out. It all kind of balances out. Okay, now let's say Charlotte, we lose the point, we get the point again, we rotate. Okay, Charlotte goes over. We got this, Ramen here, Ashley there. Now Jeremy would go into serve, but now he's going to come out, and Julian comes in. Jeremy is now just a sub. He doesn't have a position yet, so we'll actually just make him. We'll just make him. Ooh. We will just make him black, so he doesn't have a position. And then Julian, he can see now that his mirror is up here, is a middle. So Julian now comes in as a middle. I believe he might have started as an outside before. So now he's a middle hitter, and he's going to be a middle for. It makes it easier because he's going to be a middle now. It's not like you're going to be changing every play. He will be a middle for the entire rotation of the entire cycle of 6 times around. It's not until he comes out as a sub and comes back in that he may switch to being an outside instead of a middle. So that will make things really easy as well, in that the only time you quote-unquote change positions from being a middle or an outside is when you come in off the bench. Otherwise, for at least those next 6 rotations, you will always be that position that you came in as. Okay, now let's say we're going to sub again. We're going to rotate. Whoops. We are going to rotate again. Juliet here, Charlotte here, da-da-da, da-da-da. Okay, now Ashley comes in to serve. Ashley, as a girl, can't come out, so we hold here, as in there's no subs. Jeremy has to stay on the bench for one more. Okay, now we lose the point, get the point again. We're going to rotate. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Okay, now Brian's coming back to serve. Brian doesn't come out because he's the setter. He comes out in the separate game. So Jeremy has to stay on the bench again this time. Now we lose the point, get the point again. Brian moves over, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. And now Ramen comes in to serve, but he now comes out and becomes just a sub. And Jeremy comes in. And Jeremy, we can see that his opposite is Julian right now, his mirror, who is a middle. So Jeremy will come in as a middle, which is good for him because Jeremy is used to being middle. So Jeremy is a middle. We'll make him blue. Ooh. And we're getting back to where we started. let's see. Okay, now let's say we get the point, lose the point again, lose the point again, get it back. We're going to rotate, and okay, now Jan comes back into serve, but he is going to sub out, and Ramen comes in. So Jan is now a sub. He comes out. Ramen comes in, and Ramen will be now Ramen's. We notice that his opposite, his mirror, will be Ashley at this point, and Ashley is an outside hitter. So that means that Ramen will be an outside hitter as well, and he'll be an outside hitter for this entire rotation, for all 6 rotations. Okay, moving again. Same thing here. Oops, I have to leave Jan out there for now. Okay, Brian rotates up, Ashley around, Julie in the middle, Charlotte. And now Charlotte comes in to serve, so she does not sub out, so Jan stays where he is on the bench. Now we lose the point, get it back, rotate again. Da-da-da. Okay, and now Julian comes back to serve, so he comes out. He's now just a sub. And Jan comes in. And Jan, we can see, we're going to see, his mirror is, say it with me, is Jeremy in the top left, and Jeremy is a middle. So Jan will come in as a middle hitter because Jeremy, his mirror was a middle, so Jan is now a middle, and he'll be a middle for all 6 rotations. I think just about back to where we started. Maybe even gone over where we started. But anyway, let's do it again. We rotate one more time. And okay, Ashley is a girl, so she stays in, and there's no subbing here. I think we've probably gone, I've gone around more than 6 times already. So you get the point. This is where we will be, and the starting positions, unless anybody has any objections, will be what we laid out at the very beginning of this video, and that's how we'll start both games. And we could do all 3 games if you guys prefer that we have me as the setter for all 3 games, but I think just in the interest of fairness, I should just sit out an entire game, which would be the first game. If I sit out the first game, what we will I'll just change this title. This will be our rotation. I think this is a good one. 6 players with no obnoxious Brian. Okay. So Brian is now gone. I don't know who sets. I said I think it was Charlotte sets. I don't know if anybody else does. So Brian will be gone. I think this would be a good way to do it. We could do what's called a 4-2 offense. A 4-2 offense means whoever's in the front row will set as far as the setters, and so nobody ever has to run out of the back row to set. Only the front row setter, and I'll be there to coach, quote unquote, to show everybody where to go and be yelling and be obnoxious. 4-2 means it's not so important, the nomenclature. It means that 4 of the players on the court, the first number that you always put is can be hitters, and 2 at some point in their rotation, and 2 of them are setters at any point in their rotation. So that's why they call it a 4-2. Just so you know, the one that we usually run is called a 5-1. We have 1 setter always on the court, which is me, and the other 5 are all hitters or can be hitters. Okay, so here's the 4-2 offense, 6-2 with no obnoxious Brian. I think the best way to do this, I'm not sure who the other setter could be, but I think perhaps we should have the girls set. So if we have Charlotte as 1 setter, what we could do is have Ashley as the other setter. And the way we would do this, Ashley setter and Charlotte is also a setter. So for the girls, whoever's in the front row will set. There'll always be either Charlotte or Ashley will be in the front row, and they'll always run to the front right to set whenever there's a chance to set, after the play starts. And then we'll have Jeremy, and I think a good way to do this would be to have Jeremy and I think Ramen be the other middle. And then we would have Julian be an outside, and then also have Jan be an outside. or maybe actually, sorry, let's do, we could, I think, have Jan be a middle, and then Julian outside, and then I think we would want to have, Ramen be the other outside. So everyone take a mental picture of this, and I'll take a snapshot of this as well to put in the email. So this will be, I'm getting confused with names here. This is Ramen as the other outside. Okay, I'm going to take a snapshot of this that I can just send to you guys later in the email. Okay, and the way this works here, it's the same for everybody else. You're always a middle, you're always an outside, and always a center. It'll be a little bit new for Ashley being always on the right side, and a little bit new for Charlotte in that when she's in the front row, she will be setting. But, you know, it's not usually really, it's not that big of an adjustment, and you're all smart, so I think it's pretty easy. So yeah, I mean, just to run through like 1 or 2 rotations, the front row here is already good to go. We will have, let's say we're serving, we'll have us stacking here, right? After the serve, Charlotte goes over here, Ramen goes there, they flip. Okay. And then obviously if we're receiving the serve, we would say hold for 1, the back row, and then we would switch. Okay, then after we win the point and we rotate, Ashley will go here, Ramen goes there, Jan is there, Charlotte's there, Julian's there, Jeremy is there. Okay, and now let's suppose that we are serving, so we have time to stack it up. Charlotte is setter, so we're stacking, stacking, stacking. The back row is already aligned, is already arranged correctly. After we hit the ball over the net, Charlotte goes there, Jeremy to the middle. This is what you guys are used to. Julian to the outside. In this setup with this 4-2 with 6 players, it's going to be really easy for the guys because this is what you've been doing the whole time, and the girls are doing something new here, especially Ashley. So it's a little bit something new. Okay, let's suppose now that we lost that point, and then again we would hold for 1. The first one, let's say we win the point back. Oh, Charlotte, just so you know, when we say hold for 1, you probably see me do this. You can't pass over Julian. So when the ball is served from their side, when they're serving, as soon as the ball is, you start up here, right next to Julian, but at the front. As soon as the ball is served, you can kind of run to this spot and set. I know this is kind of a lot of new stuff here. Okay, and let's suppose now that we've won the point back, just to do one last rotation here. Charlotte here, Julian there, Jeremy there, Ashley there, Ramen there. Okay. Okay. Let's say we're serving now. So we have time to stack in the middle. We're to stack it up front. As soon as we serve, Julian goes to the outside, Charlotte goes to the front right, Jan goes to there, Charlotte is setting. And then the back row, who would be stacked as well, although Jeremy's serving. Once we serve, Jeremy to the middle, Ashley to the outside, Ramen to the, Ashley to the right side, Ramen to the outside. Okay, I think this is probably the best way to do it. So having me sit out the first game, unless you guys would prefer to have a setter all 3, and assuming the 80 to 90% chance that I get there, but I think we could figure this out, and I could be subbing to help people coordinate, and we will go from there. Okay, if everyone's able to watch this annoying, long, boring video, that'd be great, and I'll see you guys tonight. Okay, bye.